Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to 10 Top Channel where you get your weekly dose of top 10 shenanigans. Get your popcorn or blunt and get ready to learn how not to be broke from million-dollar lifestyles. See, we live in a world where fame and fortune seem like guarantees for success, right? Like you make it big, you're set for life. But let me tell you, it's shocking how quickly everything can disappear. We're talking mansions, cars, the whole 9 yards, gone. Many of the most celebrated stars, people you think have it all figured out, have faced financial ruin. It's crazy. They lost everything they worked so hard for. So today we're diving deep into the stories of the top 5 famous people who went broke. We're talking about folks who were on top of the world, some making hundreds of millions, others living their dream, only to lose it all. We'll see how they fell from grace and how, in some cases, they were able to climb back up. Get ready to be shocked because these stories are wild. Alright, first up we got MC Hammer, remember him? Can't touch this? The dude was a legend. He was selling millions of records, had the parachute pants, the dance moves, the whole package. He was making so much money it was like he had a money tree growing in his backyard. And you know what happens when you got a money tree? Everybody and their mama wants a piece. So, Hammer starts spending. And I'm not talking about buying a new car. I'm talking about buying a whole fleet of cars. He had a mansion with like 1,000 rooms, a gold-plated toilet probably. Don't even get me started on the entourage. He had like 200 people on his payroll. He was basically a walking, talking ATM. But here's the thing about money, folks, it doesn't last forever, especially when you're spending it faster than you can make it. And that's exactly what happened to Hammer. The hits stopped coming, the money dried up, and he was left holding the bag, a very expensive bag. He ended up filing for bankruptcy, owing over $13 million. Can you believe that? This guy went from can't touch this to can't touch my money cause it's gone. But here's the thing about Hammer, he didn't let this break him. He reinvented himself, became an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, even got back into music. He took his experience and turned it into a lesson. Next up we got Nicolas Cage. This guy right here is a national treasure. Okay, maybe not in the literal sense, but you know what I mean. The man's a legend. He's been in some of the biggest movies of all time, won an Oscar, the whole deal. And with those blockbuster movies came blockbuster paychecks. We're talking millions upon millions of dollars. Now, you would think with that kind of money you'd be set for life, right? Well, not if you're Nicolas Cage. He went on a spending spree that would make even the biggest baller blush. We're talking castles in Europe, dinosaur skulls, a freaking private island. I mean, come on man, who needs a dinosaur skull? But all that spending caught up with him. He got hit with a massive tax bill, like $14 million worth of oops, you forgot to pay the government kind of bill. And just like that, he went from living the high life to facing foreclosure on his homes. But you know what they say, what goes down must come up, right? Cage, he's a fighter, he started taking on every movie role under the sun just to pay off his debts. He even owned up to his mistakes, saying he was an impulsive buyer. I mean, you think? Let's talk about Iron Mike Tyson, one of the most ferocious boxers to ever step into the ring. This guy was a beast. He was knocking people out left and right, winning championships, making it rain. We're talking about a guy who was worth an estimated $300 million at the peak of his career. Now, you're probably thinking, Kevin, how in the world does someone with that much money go broke? Well, let me tell you, it's easier than you think, especially when you're living life in the fast lane like Mike Tyson. First off, you got the tigers. Yes, you heard me right, tigers. He owned 3 white Bengal tigers, which I'm sure didn't come cheap. Then there were the mansions, the jewelry, the cars. We're talking about a fleet of over 100 cars. But it wasn't just the extravagant spending that did him in. Tyson also had some legal troubles, a divorce that cost him millions, and some bad investments. It's a classic tale of what happens when you got more money than sense. But here's the thing about champions, they always get back up. And that's exactly what Mike Tyson did. He filed for bankruptcy in 2003, but he didn't let that keep him down. He reinvented himself, got into acting, did some business ventures, even became a vegan. Now let's head over to the Jersey Shore and talk about Teresa Giudice. You know her from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. She was living the dream, a big house, designer clothes, fancy cars, but it turns out her life wasn't as picture perfect as it seemed on TV. Behind the glitz and glamour, Teresa and her husband Joe were in deep financial trouble. They were hiding assets, filing false loan applications, basically doing all sorts of shady stuff to keep up their lavish lifestyle. But as we all know, you can't outrun the law forever. In 2014, Teresa and Joe were convicted of bankruptcy fraud and other charges. She was sentenced to 15 months in prison, while Joe got hit with a 41-month sentence. Talk about a reality check. Their whole world came crashing down around them. But here's the thing about Teresa, she's a survivor. After she got out of prison, she went right back to work, rebuilding her life and her career. She wrote a best-selling book, went back to Real Housewives, and even started her own line of hair care products. Last but not least, we got Allen Iverson, aka The Answer. This guy was a basketball legend, one of the most electrifying players to ever step on the court. He was a scoring machine, an MVP, a cultural icon, and with that kind of fame came some serious fortune. We're talking about multi-million-dollar contracts, endorsements, the whole 9 yards. But just like some of the other folks on our list, AI had a hard time holding on to his money. See, he had this habit of taking care of everyone around him, family, friends, even people he barely knew. And while it's admirable to want to help others, it can also be a recipe for disaster if you're not careful. On top of that, AI had a thing for jewelry, cars, and expensive clothes. I mean, the man had a legendary shoe collection. But all that spending caught up with him. He went through a messy divorce, had some legal troubles, and made some bad investments. By 2012, there were reports that he was broke. Can you believe that? From NBA superstar to struggling to make ends meet. It's a cautionary tale about the importance of financial literacy, even when you're making millions. But just like a true baller, AI is trying to make a comeback. He's been doing some media appearances, basketball-related work, and even had his jersey retired by the Philadelphia 76ers. So there you have it, folks. 5 cautionary tales of fame, fortune, and the dangers of financial mismanagement. From MC Hammer to Nicolas Cage, Mike Tyson to Teresa Giudice and Allen Iverson, these stories all carry a common thread: the consequences of living beyond one's means, ignoring sound financial advice, and failing to plan for the future. But you know what? It ain't all doom and gloom. The true lesson in all these stories is not just about losing money, it's about resilience, the ability to adapt, and the importance of financial discipline. These celebs messed up big time, but they also showed us that it's possible to bounce back, even from the toughest situations. If you found these stories insightful, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Don't forget to drop a comment below about which story surprised you the most. Until next time, thanks for watching.